Hello, all my lovely degenerates. Today I am back once again. Once again in Bendy in the Dark Revival, because today I found out that there is a archive section for this game. Yeah, this is super weird. Oh, archives. Welcome to the archives. Bendy in the Dark Revival is filled with numerous a critical role to play in the progression of the game. Here in the archives, you will learn a little bit more about them in an up close and personal way. Feel free to explore. Let's start with this. Designed by Thomas Connor of the Gent Corporation, stolen by Joey Chu, retrieved by Archgate, and once again reclaimed by Gent. The Ink Machine's next adventure is a mystery. Ah, yes. Jeez, why is this taking so long to do? Wait, why is there no sound? There's supposed to be sound here. I don't know. Hang on, we'll just get onto those guys some other time. Does Benny have one? Yeah, Benny the Iconic Imp was redesigned for a Dark Revival to stand out a bit from his traditional cartoon appearance. By giving him a suit of clothes, he posed some minor challenges, specifically creating a face that sported the classic Benny eerie smile, but still managed to be heartwarming in the right conditions. He is a fan favorite, so his design had to be just right. During production, we originally envisioned Benny to talk with a series of cute squeaks to contrast the dark, low voice of the Ink Demon, but this turned out to be very distracting, and the idea was scrapped pretty early on. That would have been cool if it was implemented. Wilson was a difficult character to balance. At first, the players are supposedly led to believe he is a one-note character, obviously evil with an over-the-top villain personality. But as the story progresses, we see other sides of the characters, and the player becomes muddled with who this man really is. In one draft, Wilson was written as a servant of Nathan Arch Jr., a separate character at the time, but the story made more sense when the two characters become one, eliminating a lot of needless narrative complexity. Audrey is a kind-hearted rogue with courage, determination, some flaws, and a deep, dark past. To make our story work, we needed a newcomer to the cartoon studio world, and Audrey was a perfect fresh eyes to help the experience, the adventure. From day one of production, we knew that if the people didn't connect with Audrey by the end of the game itself wouldn't be successful. Fortunately, she turned out to be quite memorable indeed and stands out from the other members of the cast. I like how it says cartoon. Like there's another version of her. Probably is. As the world of the Ink Demon... okay, so there's two. As the world of the Dark Revival became more complex and established, we realized the Ink Demon's design needed a complete rethink to match our new tone. Previous versions of his appearance look obviously silly when placed in the world alongside other characters. No amount of creepy music or screen effects could conceal how out of place he looked. The Ink Demon needed to look different than everything else in the world and show a natural progression of the Ink Demon's evolution as Wilson held the cycle in place. Returning from the climax of Dark Revival, Beast Bendy also revisited with the mindset of making him more powerful and beast-like. Traditionally, in most horror games, they tend to build to a point where the main villain becomes a final form monster as the final boss. It's practically as a trope. Our idea, what if you gotta play as their final form instead? There's like two different section sheets. Okay, so that's that. A faithful maid, along other things, to Wilson. Betty was an important character to the story of Dark Revival. As a failed experiment and someone relatively new to the cartoon studio, she was able to give a somewhat different point of view on the state of the world. We have purposely left it unclear if Betty was on Wilson's plot to harvest Audrey or if she is just a bystander. Behind her mask, there are still answers to be found. The man, the legend, the memory. Creating this version of Joey True was both an exciting and daunting process. It was clear from the start that this Joey would be different from the one from the original Bendy and Ink Machine game. This was a man with all the guilt from a past life, but without the experience to fully understand it. The real Joey Drew made many mistakes, but ultimately learned from them. This doesn't absolve him of his sins, but at the end of his life, he was able to help correct some of them and help fight the darkness he created. Wow. Very interesting. Okay, so these are like the rule breakers. I'll get to that later because I just saw Henry. Does this have anything? No, you can't have it, Audrey. Awesome. I would love to have it. Nathan Arch was everything Joey Drew wasn't. He worked hard, built it from nothing, and never compromised his integrity. Joey Drew had big dreams, but Nathan accomplished his own dreams. He and his wife Tessa raised a son with as much love and care as they could, despite Nathan's career pressures. Sadly, his son did not share Nathan's natural talent for business and enterprise. Audrey, the unknowing daughter of an animation pioneer, Audrey has blocked out the memory of her past after losing her father, but his role in her life was not over. A talented animator and artist, her skills landed her a job at Archgate. Was it fate that led her to reunite with Joey Drew's machine, the machine of her birth, or was it planned? Haunted by the impossible shadow of Nathan Arch, Wilson sought to achieve something that would make his father proud by luck. he stumbled upon the ink machine and was able to create a cartoon world's new master. Holding the cycle in place, he continued his experiments that could not fully be realized until the ink machine was purged. However, unnaturally entering to and from the ink realm was taking a toll on Wilson's physical being, slowly robbing him of his health. Well, that explains why he looks so weird. It's stealing his life force. He's not supposed to be there. Alright, let's see with Henry. Henry Stein, the original cycle breaker. Henry Stein is the ghost of a man who lost his purpose years ago. Once fueled with finding a way to escape the tortures of the ink demon and find his way home to his wife, Henry is now left with the cold reality of being a recreation of the person he thought he was. Save as a special surprise for fans of the Bendy Machine game, Henry was strictly omitted from all public discussion of the character during the entire production, which spanned several years, but Henry returned with a very satisfying face reveal. Wait, has it been 7 years? Returning for another victory over the ink demon, Allison is always the voice of reason, a beacon of hope. Wilson's design was carefully programmed, upgraded from the previous Bendy Ink Machine game to maintain her personality but with more fidelity. The purpose of meeting Allison so early in the campaign was to introduce the character to a familiar face after the main introduction. At the start, Allison was able to serve as the motivating force for Audrey until the plot kicked in later. Tom is Allison's silent protector and the only Boris clone involved in the main story. Where is Boris the Wolf? Rumor has it that during the events of the game, Boris experienced a dark survival story of his own. Okay, so dark survival is still around, I guess, in that era. Alright, so we went through that. It's actually a... wow. Let's start with... Heidi. It is believed that Heidi has spent some time in the pit, a prison set by Wilson and the Keepers. It is unclear why, but most likely she was able to access places she shouldn't have. The experience in the pit changed her, as it does many, reverting her into a childlike state, longing for happiness again. As the cycle is held in place and the influence of the ink demon held at bay, the cartoon world was able to grow and advance, creating such characters as Porter, a lost one who came to claim a new identity as an explorer. Porter was written with the knowledge that Dark Revival would feature a far more serious tone than the first game of the Bendy Ink Machine, and his light-hearted innocence would help the player feel some warmth in this inky world of sorrow. Ooh, Sammy. Okay, there's more. The famous music composer of the studio, Sammy Lawrence, originally had a slightly larger role in the story of Dark Revival, but in the story already filled with so many characters, making them all play a meaningful part became a challenge. He was ultimately sidelined in favor of telling a more coherent storyline. Although it is interesting to note that Sammy Lawrence appears to have mastered the flow ability in bending the ink machine long before Porter and Audrey could wield it. Or weld it, I guess. Oh, wow, there's two. Lord Amok, ruler of the Sewer cult. Lord Amok illustrates how the world of the ink had continued to develop into different societies. Deep within the darkest places, though he was weak in a fight, his name will simply never die. The self-obtained queen of the studio, Alice Angel, is one of the most memorable faces in the Bendy world, forever lost in the tide of insanity. She is so absolute delight to write for as a character, an angel with many layers. Time will only tell if this inky temptress will ever reappear. King Widow. Ink widows have begun to infest where the light grows darkest. Their king, the biggest and most feared, will only emerge from his nest when it's young or threatened. Yeah, that guy was weird. Oh, whoa. I did not think it would be that close. That was a surprise. The demented invention of Wilson. created to serve the dual purpose of the dethroning the Ink Demon in the cartoon world and also upstaging Joy True in the eyes of Wilson's father, Nathan Arch. Neither of these happen. Shippahoy Dudley is a mysterious sailor with his own eerie grin, similar to that of Benny, along with his sidekick Crackle the Crab. It is unknown just what kind of cartoon adventures they would have together. Oh, that's a character? Huh. I did not know the crab was a character as well. The Lurker, or Steve as he became to be known, was originally created as a brute-type enemy that would free roam the way Lost Ones do, but ultimately felt unnecessary as the random Ink Demon encounters already fulfilled the role of putting a player on edge while exploring previous traversed locations. In the end, the Lurker found a much better calling as an unlikely ally, effectively expanding him into more than just a typical enemy. I didn't realize that, but Bendy and Ink Machine was actually kind of shorter than we thought. And Bendy and the Dark Revival was shorter than we thought it was. That was like the final part of it. What? That's weird. Barley. Let's do this one first. Oops. The Keepers, Wilson's deadly guards and scientists. They aren't perfect, but the Keepers will get the job done. No matter the cost, they are responsible for pressing the Ink Demon inside a smaller form, keeping his power sealed away until Audrey came along will unknowingly change the situation. The Keepers were visually designed to reflect the dangers and evils of the Ink Machine itself. Faceless beings made of gears and wires with no sense of morality, ordered around like cattle. A creation living without purpose. Barley, Charlie, and Edgar, the three original members of the Butcher Gang, were formed from the Ink Machine, deconstructed by Alice Angel for body parts and bonded together to stay alive with sneak attacks on their prey. In Dark Revival, we meet on an artificial fourth member of the gang, Carly, the Ghost Girl. Although when you begin to examine her closely, Carly appears to only be a shell with perhaps someone inside. Wait, is she looking at me? No, she's not. It makes sense. Barley, Charlie, and Edgar, the three original members of the Butcher Gang, were formed from the Ink Machine. Deconstructed by... okay, so it's just going to show everything for them. No need to go through that. Is there any other secrets in this place? There's no way it's 17 minutes long. Is this? I guess it makes... Let's see that. Bendy and the Dark Revival. Wait, why did I go here? Oops. Yeah, I feel like there should be more. Or there should have been more. Is it just me? I feel like it's just me, but I feel like there should have been more. Also, these guys aren't live like the original archives. There's a Dark Revival fan film? What? When is there a Bendy and Ink Machine Dark Revival fan film? Huh? Okay, there isn't, but it does seem that way. Maybe it has it. Maybe they have it over here. Nope, wrong server. Yeah, here we are. So there's a second. There's a there's a different one. But where? Where is the last one? Okay, that's the exit out. But I'm not here to leave. Okay, there's this. Okay, you can only get it outside of the map. Well, that's sad. You have to hack Bendy's machine to use it. Wait, what's that? What's this guy doing here? That's odd. Or wait. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, apparently that's it. That's incredibly weird. How small it is. I thought it'd be like much bigger. Harold, too much dry air, not enough fish food. So there is some secret stuff in this. Just some. Nothing huge. Yeah. Or maybe that was just a one-time thing. Who knows? I like how it's sticking out. Like some parts of it are sticking out because they're much bigger in the cage than before. Okay, let me. So I guess that's it. Odd. Oh, now what? I didn't really think that far. Yeah, it's a cash register, empty trash can. I thought there'd be much more for some reason. I noticed the Christmas update, but it's already been updated enough that it's already gone now. So there is not a point in doing any of that. that's that. Now let me see if I can find it so I can show you guys. And I'm not exactly sure what else. How long has it been? 25 minutes. Wow.
This isn't a coffee, it's a trophy. Caramel.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so if I just click play. Oh, does he talk? No, he doesn't. Alright, good. Yeah. You have to get the cheats. Well, the cheat system to use it. And you can only do that with that one. Yeah, Cine. Apparently he's called Cine. Does it show it? Well, whatever it is. Apparently he's called Cine, so. And he's the only thing in there that's animated. Which is odd enough as it is. Well, now that we got that out of the way, what is there to do now? I can't really think of anything else to do. That was a weird almost 30 minutes. Let's see. Maybe I have something here we could do. Or at least I could do to entertain you guys as a entertainer of this district. Wow, there is literally nothing to do. What's this? Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. This is a short live stream. Well, good night.